Okay, we are live. We are live. Well, I think we are. Yeah, we are. We're live. Okay. Just a quick little stream. Talk some boxing. Big weekend coming up, of course. Canelo versus Saunders. The main fight of the weekend. Looking forward to that one. Even the day before, we have Liam Smith versus Magomed Korbanov. That's a really good fight in itself. In fact, I do need to do a prediction video for that fight. It's just really whether I get time, but definitely a good weekend coming up for boxing. Definitely a good weekend, man. Looking forward to it. And obviously today's been a bank holiday in the UK, so I had today off, which is nice. Big up to Jay's Boxing Universe. Salute to you, sir. Hopefully you're keeping well. Because it's a bank holiday, we have ourselves a nice little beer. A bit of BrewDog today. Bit of BrewDog. Big up to Ed Kaler as well in the house. Big up to Ed. Cheers, Bumper K. Yeah, the new channel is now live for you guys to see. It's not a boxing channel, obviously, so let me, what I'll do for you guys, I will get a link, because I see Ed Kaler's asking about it. 1 second, Ed, I'll get you a link to the channel. I can find my own channel. There we go. Boom. There you go, Ed. Oh, shit. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, big up to Ed as well. Salute to Ed. Big up to AA Boxing and Blunts. Will the best Billy Joe Saunders even be good enough to beat Canelo? In my opinion, Billy Joe needs a stationary target to look good against, but I'm backing Canelo inside 6 rounds. Yeah, it's a good question, AA. Even if Billy Joe has had a great camp, he's in great shape, he's at his absolute best, is he really good enough to beat this version of Canelo? I would probably say no, but you never know really. Canelo's not fought this sort of fighter in a long time. Sort of a slick guy who can box and move, quick feet. He's not fought this sort of guy in a long while, so you never know. But I doubt it. I do believe Billy Joe's going to have some success early on, but once Canelo starts to close that gap, once Billy Joe slows down a little bit, you'll see Canelo dig to that body and get on top of him, basically. But yeah, I think Canelo wins this fight. I would say on points. That's my official prediction, but a late stoppage wouldn't exactly shock me, quite frankly. Big up to Intusus. Big up to you, sir. Oh yeah, I saw this, Boxing Learner. Yeah, Felix Verdejo did a monstrous deed. Rip to the girl and the child. Yeah, crazy stuff, man. He's now in custody, Felix Verdejo. So we'll see where that goes. But right now, it's not looking good for him. And allegedly, his wife helped him dispose of her body, which is crazy, man. That's such a crazy story. Felix Verdejo, man. That's madness, bro. That's madness. I can't see him getting out of that one. I really can't. I've only read a few bits about it, but what I've read sounds pretty damning, to be honest. It sounds pretty damning, so I'll be shocked if he gets off with that one. Couldn't believe it when I read that story. Oh, cheers, Jay's Boxing Universe. Big up to you, sir. Yes, big up to Tom Hansen in the house. Hit the like, everybody. Yes, sir. Always helps us out, man, when you hit the like. Always helps us out. AA said, I watched the video, mate, right up my aisle. Yeah, messed up story, man. Definitely a messed up story. The first few videos, that's what I plan on doing. I'm going to do videos on those sort of topics, things I've seen back in the day. I'm not going to watch those videos for the purpose of making videos, though. I'll do videos on what I've seen, kind of thing, and then I'll go from there, basically. But yeah, there's a few videos I've got in mind coming up. There's a few videos I've got in mind. I think the next video could be cartel-based, That's all I'll give you. But there's a lot of ideas I have in mind. No way Canelo will stop Billy Joe. Canelo points is easy money this weekend. Yeah, it's true. Billy Joe's got a pretty good beard, but he can be hurt. He can be hurt. We saw that in the Isafi fight. Even the Eubank fight towards the end, he got buzzed by an uppercut. So we'll see. I wouldn't be shocked if Canelo stops him late on. But I think you're right. I think it's more likely he will go the distance. All I'm hoping for is Billy Joe goes there and gives it his best. That's all I'm hoping for. You can't ask anything more than that, quite frankly. So all I want to see is Billy Joe go in there in shape and give it a real go. That's all I want to see. Big up to Nareel. Big up Del. He says, thoughts on Melikuziev versus Rosado. Yeah, I like that fight, Nareel. I think it's a good test for Melikuziev. That's the sort of guy I wanted him to fight. And I'm presuming that fight's at super middleweight. And again, I want to see Melikuziev ignore light heavyweight and go to 168. I think he's too small for light heavyweight, to be honest. So yeah, good fight. Rosado's been around for a long time. He's durable. He's experienced. He's quite crafty. So I think that's the ideal fight for Melikuziev. And listen, I think Melikuziev wins, but Rosado's one of those guys where if you're not good enough, he can expose you. So it's going to be interesting. I like that fight. So yeah, Felix Verdejo, basically J9898, he's been implicated in the disappearance of a woman, basically, who allegedly had his baby. Well, she was pregnant, and basically they say he killed her because he didn't want to look after the baby, essentially. That's what I'm getting from that story. And yeah, he's now implicated in that case. He's in custody, and it's not looking too good for him. I think Canelo will stop him quickly. I'll be surprised at that, AA. I'll be surprised if it happens quickly. Yeah, child support would have been cheaper, yeah. Now Felix is looking at, well, life in prison. And apparently they have the death penalty in Puerto Rico. So maybe Felix is going to get the bullet. So we'll see. Big up to Sam UK. Saunders will smoke the protected and manufactured to the top Princess Canelo. Underdog Saunders. Listen, man, if Saunders does it, all the credit to him. But I think he's got his work cut out, Sam. He really does. Listen, obviously you're right. There are some elements of, fuckery with Canelo, and I've mentioned that a lot. But let's not lose sight of the fact that he is a very good fighter, Canelo Alvarez. Yes, big up to G-Man. Salute to G-Man. Great channel, by the way. One of the best on YouTube. Super regular content. Always uploads. Very good content, man. Check out G-Man Boxing. Real good stuff. And one of the nicest guys on here, in my opinion. Yeah, honestly, if he's done that, then yeah, I agree, Brandon. I agree. Shadow Boxing, let's go, Canelo. I think you'll have your wish, Shadow. I think you'll have your wish. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's definitely an underworld in Puerto Rico, yeah. There's a lot of violence in Puerto Rico. Del, who gets their hand held more, Canelo or Anthony Joshua? Christ. I'd say Canelo, to be honest with you, Sam UK. Both guys have had their own fair share of luck along the way. Joshua with his gold medal, really he never won that. He lost in the first round. So Joshua's had his own, handouts. Not handouts, that's the wrong word, but he's had his own benefit. He's got the benefit of a doubt in boxing, put it that way. But Canelo to me has had far more cases of that. Verdejo's an idiot. I agree. Enjoyed your first video on your second channel, if that's the right word. Yeah, I know what you're saying, bro. I'm interested in all those sort of cases. I mean, that's my I like those sort of cases. Well, not like them. Again, you know what I mean. Yeah, Felix has never been right since that crash. Yeah, I was saying this earlier, G-Man, on somebody else's video. Similar to the Edwin Valero case, because that was the theory behind Edwin Valero. Apparently his personality went real off after he got involved in a motorcycle crash. And obviously we know what happened with Edwin Valero, how he ended up. You know, he did a similar thing. So there could be something in that, G-Man. Minimax, big up to Minimax, by the way, another really good channel. Smith versus Kurbanov, who have you got? I've got Liam Smith. It's a hard fight away from home. Kurbanov's a good fighter, good mid-range hooker, carries power, but I don't think he's the greatest inside fighter in the world. And if Liam can get on his chest and stay there, I think he can actually outwork and maybe even stop Kurbanov. Big up to Crazy D3 every single time. Salute to Crazy. Has anybody heard what's happened with Galahad versus Dickens? MTK won a purse bid 3 months ago, but still no date. Was rumoured to be on the Canelo Billy Joe Saunders card. Yeah, I've not heard anything from it. AA. Heard nothing from it. Again, I was assuming like you that was on the Canelo card, but doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it, man. It's weird. It's going to happen though, but just when and where is the question. Yodel, do you think Ruiz is ready for Ortiz, or is Ortiz appropriately washed up? I don't think. Listen, I think Ortiz is definitely past his best, given what age he is, but he's still relatively useful. So I think that's a good fight. If they make that next, I've got no complaints. I wouldn't moan about it. So yeah, I think both guys are ready for it. Yeah, Mark Tibb said some of his team weren't available. Yeah, I didn't really look too much into it. Yeah, Felix is clearly a fan of Edwin Valero. Yeah, those two cases are quite similar, G-Man. They are quite similar. You brought up Verdejo's motorcycle crash, and obviously the same thing happened with Valero. And obviously we know how these guys turned out in retrospect. So there might be something in that. And that has been documented. Obviously, when somebody has a serious head injury, it can cause obviously personality defects, where somebody can be more violent or more prone to outbursts and things like that. So, and that's not an excuse, by the way. That's just reality. It happens. But yeah, regardless, it is a heinous act. Oh, thank you, Mark. Big up to Unrivaled Boxing Talk. Very good channel as well. If you've not checked out Unrivaled, he's been doing this for a little while now. One of the hardest workers on here. Real good channel. Always been good to me. One of the best guys on here, along with G-Man as well. Minimax, some great channels on here, man. So check these guys out. But big up to Unrivaled. Rewatching Lemieux Billy Joe Saunders actually made me less confident in Saunders' openings for Canelo. Yeah. I know what you mean. I think people went overboard with that performance. Lemieux's a good puncher, but he's got nothing coming forwards in terms of cutting the ring off, creating his own openings. Lemieux really succeeds when he's fighting a flat-footed guy like a Spike O'Sullivan kind of thing. That's when he really exceeds. The violence in Puerto Rico makes Mexico look like Disneyland. Is that the case, Brandon? I never knew that. I knew Mexico was quite bad in certain areas like TJ and whatnot, but who do you think? Sorry, what do you think? Sorry, what you say? What you? So, did you think Chisora won the fight with Parker? Yeah, I felt he nicked it in Tusas. I felt he won it by a point. 114-113, I had it to Chisora. For me, it went down to the last round, and Chisora won that last round, so I gave it to Chisora. Yes, big up to Unrivaled, man, every single time. Anthony Joshua has the charisma of a P and still a hype job, being protected and groomed to the top by the elites of this sport. Listen, Joshua was always marketable, right? He's always had that look, and obviously they want a guy like that to go to the top, but Joshua has done some heavy lifting. You can't say he's not got a good resume. He's beaten certain guys. I know some of these guys were a bit old, but they weren't bad fighters. You know, like Povetkin, yeah, past his best, but still dangerous. Dillian White, yeah, little bit green, but still dangerous. Klitschko, past his best, but still dangerous. Joshua has fought good guys, to be fair to him. And I'm not the biggest Joshua fan, as you guys know. Yeah, Fred West had a motorcycle crash when he was young. Look at how he turned out. Yeah, there's a lot of cases like that, G-Man Boxing. There's a lot of cases like that. 100%. Big up to Jed Kyle from Down Under, man. Big up to Jed. Tell you what, Jed, I wish I was in Australia right now. The weather here is horrible. Howling, like the wind is terrible, man. Horrible. Rain, wind, grey. Christ. Oh, cheers, Junior, man. Good evening, Del Boy Plus chat. Like the idea behind your new channel. Thank you, bro. Oh, thank you, Jared Thompson, man. Big up to you, sir. All I'll say is to you guys, though, don't watch the actual video, like behind my, like, so yeah, don't watch the actual video, if that makes sense. You know what I'm talking about. Like the actual murder video, don't watch it. Because I watched that when I was at school. Like, just, you know how edgy teens are. You say, oh, you can't watch this, you can't watch this. So I watched it. That's how I watched it, basically. But I don't watch it. No worries, Minimax, man. No worries. Who do you think wins right now, Ennis or Ortiz Jr.? I'd pick Ennis. I think he's too talented. Yeah, he's a bigger dude. He's got quicker hands. But I think Ortiz is more technically put together. His balance, how he applies pressure. I think his punch technique's a bit better. But Ennis, to me, is a better athlete. So that's going to be a hard fight to call. Right now, quite frankly, you know I usually pick fights. But right now, I'd have to sit on the fence. I want to see Ennis fight one more decent guy, maybe a bit bigger than Lipinets. But then I'll say, yeah, good fight though. Surely Smith has to win or it's end of a road for him. Yeah. See, yeah, Kurbanov is like up and coming guy, kind of on the periphery of world level right now. And if Liam Smith loses to a guy like that, it basically signals the end, you know, for his challenge to be a world champion again. Whether he would stick around for domestic fights, who knows? I don't think he would, to be honest. So you could be right. Yeah, big up to the chat every single time. Indeed. Salute to you, Jed Carman. Yes, big up to Matthias Unboxing. Salute to Matthias. By the way, check out Matthias as well. He's recently started a channel not so long ago. I found his channel. I forget how I found his channel, but good channel, man. Yeah, real good channel. Yeah, smash the like, man. Hit the like. Oh, yeah, indeed, man. Edwin Valero was a very good fighter. Relentless pressure, power, crazy strength, good chin, heart of a warrior. Yeah, Valero was definitely a problem at that point in time at lightweight. I wish we got Valero versus Linares back then. That would have been a great fight. If the Usyk fight doesn't happen, then I think Joy should fight Parker. Yeah? Yeah? That's a good fight. Based on that, though, based on Parker's performance, I think Joyce beats him on points. Verdejo better change his name to Pendejo, yeah. 119-109, Chisora Unrivaled has taken a page off Derek Controversy Cells. Yeah, I saw Mark's scorecard. I saw Mark's scorecard. I thought it was a close fight, to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought it was a close fight. Yeah, that would be a great fight, Matthias. Parker, Joyce. I'd make, again, though, I'd pick Joyce. Yeah, Valero was always a psycho, though. Heard absolutely mental stories about him in Venezuela. Okay, so Mexico's got a higher murder rate. Okay. I thought that was the case, but I'm not clued up on these sort of things, to be honest, Jed. Obviously, Mexico has all these cartels coming through right now. Sinaloa, the new Jalisco, what's it called? The new generation Jalisco cartel, the Gulf cartel. They've got so many cartels out there who are just, you know, just crazy motherfuckers. And again, that could be my, for the second video on the channel, the new channel, I think we'll do a cartel video. I've got a few cartel videos in mind, actually. I've heard Honduras and Nicaragua makes Mexico seem like paradise. Yeah, those two countries are bad. I think Nicaragua, it's either Nicaragua or like El Salvador are like got the highest murder rates in the world. Oh, thank you, Naril, man. Much appreciated, brother. Much appreciated. What do you think about John Ryder's comments about challenging Canelo for the WBA strap? I like John Ryder a lot, Hader, but he's got a lot of work to do to earn that sort of fight. I felt he beat Callum Smith, but you can't rest on that forever. He needs to get back in the ring and beat somebody. I mean, he was supposed to fight the Cuban fella, David Morrell, but that fight's not come off, so I'm not sure what's happening with John Ryder right now. Big up to BG London. Salute to you, sir. Does Billy Joe take a dive against Canelo? I think he's a much better fighter than Canelo. Damn, you think he's a better fighter? I don't think he's a better fighter, but I do believe he'll come to fight. I do believe he'll come to fight. He looks in good shape. You know, he looks like he's trained hard, been in camp for a long time. In fact, I would say this is the best shape I've seen Billy Joe Saunders in, so I think he'll come to fight. I don't think he'll win, though. Junior's replying to Crazy. He says, now Mexico is by far the most violent country in the world at the moment. The poverty might be worse there, though. Yeah. Yeah, it's windy down here, bro. It's windy down here. Yeah, Jermaine Taylor also suffered brain damage too. Look what happened to him. Yeah, shot his cousin, got in all sorts of problems. Yeah, Jermaine Taylor turned into a bit of a psychopath. And when he was on the come up, Jermaine Taylor was kind of viewed as like this, kind of like boy next door type of guy. Just, you know, well-spoken, not really all that cocky. He actually had a reputation of not being a real fighter because he was one of those guys who done boxing because he was good at it kind of thing. He was a great athlete and he just took to boxing. And on the come up, he wasn't controversial. He was just like a normal kind of down-to-earth guy. And obviously we know how he turned out. So exactly. It can change people. Anytime you're in Sydney, bro, give us a heads up. Yeah, we'll do, man. Listen, man, it's going to be a long fucking time, but one day, be amazing, man. Thought Areola looked better than Ruiz. Was disappointed with Ruiz. What are your thoughts? Cheers. Yeah, Areola really surprised me, Tom. He really surprised me. It's frustrating, though, because he's 40 years old and it's taken till now for him to get in the best shape of his career. And we saw how he performed. He boxed well for the first 4 rounds, I would say. But his gas tank just kind of ran out. But he fought a real good fight. And I was disappointed in Andy Ruiz. I thought he looked pretty average, to be honest. And the fact he got dropped by Areola and hurt in the 3rd round is definitely a bit of a concern. Andy's obviously always had a good chin. And I wondered, Andy's lost this weight quite quickly. And when you do that, it can actually detrimentally affect your strength and even your punch resistance. So I'm wondering whether Andy's actually taken too much weight off too quick. And that's why his punch resistance wasn't as good. Because Andy's always had a good chin. Yeah, that's what I thought, Jiho. I thought John Ryder was supposed to fight David Morrell, yeah, for the WBA baby belt, yeah. They was talking about it. It was in negotiations. But yeah, I've not heard anything since then. Michael Van Gerwen, what's the channel name? So the channel, I'll put it in the chat here for you, bro. I'll put it in the chat for you, Michael. I've linked it. Kubanov Smith goes the distance and causes a very divided fan opinion. It'll be razor close. You could be right, bro. It's a competitive fight. There's no doubt about it. I wonder what channel that's on in the UK. MS-18 Street, very violent, but they're small time compared to the cartels, not on their level organisation-wise or money-wise. 100%, Jed Kyle. I mean, the cartels, obviously, they've got the manpower, but also they infiltrate politics in Mexico, local police forces. They have their hands everywhere, the cartel. So, you know, they are running things in Mexico right now. And the cartel... they even try and like maintain public relations. Well, some cartels do. I can't speak for all of them, but some cartels will actually regenerate areas, build schools, build roads to actually get the public on side. So when the police come knocking, they have a much harder time because the police will side with the cartels. So they're very smart. They're very organized, these cartels in Mexico. Indeed, Matthias, indeed. It's a great fight. Oh, cheers, AA. Cheers, man. Yes, big up to John Gonzalez down there in Texas, man. Salute to John. For all I know, John could be in the cartel, man. Maybe he's trying to recruit me. Was surprised at Bivol versus Richards and how competitive it was. Yeah, I thought Craig Richards put on a really good show. He was getting comprehensively outboxed in the first 6 rounds, but round 7 onwards, he actually gave it a go. And won a couple of rounds. So I think Craig Richards, yeah, he lost, but his stock went up for me in that fight. I felt his stock went up. And I'll tell you what, I'd love to see Craig Richards fight Joshua Buatsi. I think Richards has got a lot better since he lost to Buglioni. And I think that's a good test for Buatsi. Definitely, I agree. I was surprised. Yeah, I've seen the clip of John Fury getting knocked out. I've seen it. He got slept. Yeah, props to Smith for taking the fight in Russia. No mismatch, just a ballsy fight to take. Yes, sir. Like pretty much a 50-50 fight, I would say. I'd lean towards Smith, but it's a close fight. I would still pick Parker over Usyk. I think his style beats Usyk. I'm not sure, man. I think Usyk could be a bit too active for him and a better boxer. Yeah, so yeah, Scott Fitzgerald, he came back this weekend. He looked okay, but obviously still has weight to lose. Yeah, I would say Haydar, you're right there. I would say Harry Scarf. I think Harry Scarf is a bit better than Adam Harper. You know, that's who I would have him in there with. Jiho Park, I'd love for the winner of Korbanov Smith to fight Tim Tszyu. I agree. That's a good fight for Tim Tszyu. They could have that fight as like a final eliminator. The Smith Korbanov winner versus Tim Tszyu. I take Joyce to beat Parker. Yeah, I agree. Are the Mexican cartels present in the UK, Del? No, they're not. No, their product comes over here though, the cocaine. But that's about it. Yeah, in some places, life is cheaper than a Sky Sports pay-per-view. 100%, bro. 100%. How come we don't see more boxers from Central America? It's a good point. It is a good point. Do you mean South America, though, boxing learner? Like Argentina, Brazil? Yeah, so the first video, Jed Kyle, on that channel was about the Three Guys One Hammer people. You know, those kids who done that crime. Like an in-depth look at it. Not the video, obviously, but an in-depth look at the case. But yeah, I think a cartel video is coming next. So I've got a few ideas in mind for cartel videos. Yeah, the Ruiz card was pretty entertaining. Fundora's always good to watch, and Ramos broke down Figueroa. Yeah, Abel Ramos is a good little gatekeeper at welterweight. I'll tell you what, Abel Ramos versus Conor Benn. I think that's a good fight. I think that's a very good test for Conor Benn. Hi, Brandon, you from El Salvador? Oh, that's interesting, man. See, I'm kind of fascinated with like South America, Central America, and like the crime that goes down, like the organized crime. I've always been kind of fascinated about it for some reason. Like I've never really been into the mafia sort of thing. That's not really my generation, is it? Like what's going on in the world now with the cartels is like crazy, man. Crazy. See, I think those cartels are far worse than the mafia ever were. Canelo's in big trouble in the ring on Saturday. Word is born. Going to be a close one. I hope it's a good fight. A very precarious Beaver. I like that name, by the way. I like that name. Yes, Nathan. Abel Ramos versus Stanionis. Another good fight. He's a good test. Okay, so yeah, El Salvador is the highest murder rate country, but Tijuana is the highest city in the world. Yeah, that makes sense. I know TJ's bad. Yeah, exactly, BG London. About time. But when I make the first video, I think that'll inspire me to actually upload more. So now that first video is uploaded, I've kind of got to do it now. My plan right now is once a week, to be honest. I'm not going to really put too much on myself, but I'd like to get a video up once a week, and we'll see where it goes. My editing skills are fucking shit, so we'll see where it goes, bro. We'll see where it goes. Yeah, why are we debating? He's going to get robbed anyway. I just want to see Saunders' dad attack Eddie. Brandon Blanco, definitely at times, but Mexican cartels not as prevalent in Europe as they are in the USA. Yeah, exactly. Lara's growing into 160. He's been improving his nutrition and eating his cornflakes. Indeed, he has, man. Cornflakes got fucking slept. You know when you leave, you know when you have cornflakes and you fucking put too much milk in and they go soggy. That's what happened to Cornflakes Lamana, man. He went limp. The American shows Canelo, Taylor Ramirez, and Haney all crap undercards. Harper Choi better undercard. Do you know what, Matthias? I actually like Martin J. Ward versus Azinga Fusile. That's on the Haney undercard. That's actually quite a good fight. I think that'll be a good fight. Yeah, praying for Billy Joe to shock the world. Yo, we need to beat a Mexican, Matthias. We need to beat a Mexican. Right now, the Mexicans are fucking whooping our ass in boxing. I think Taylor's going to get some respect back. I think he'll win. But, you know, I think Canelo's going to fuck up Billy. Really? Yeah. No more can be said, man. That's a good shout, you know, Jared. After Ariola's performance, Ariola Dubois. That's a good shout. That's a good shout. I'd watch that fight. Get Chris over to the UK, man. I'd watch it. Yes, hit the like, guys. If you could hit the like, man, it'd be much appreciated. It always helps the channel out, man. It always does. Who would you have on your top 10 most dislikable fighters list? I would start with Courtney, Plant, and the Charlos. See, I like Jamel Charlo, but I agree with Plant, Jamal, and Courtney. I'm not really a big fan of Fury, Joshua, Canelo. But again, I don't hate these fighters, though. I don't like sit there and say, oh, I wish this guy loses, and I stay up at night about it. I don't really dislike fighters that much, to be honest. There's fighters I'm not really keen on, but that's as far as it goes. But yeah, guys like Plant, Jamal Charlo, Canelo, Joshua Fury. I'm not really keen on these guys, to be honest. Yeah, Ariola would be a good opponent for any prospect, though. He has power and is tough, yeah? Didn't see the card on Saturday, but apparently Sky never mentioned Hearn. Adam Smith probably salty now. Yeah. Yeah, he knows he's out of a job, G-Man. He's going to be covering netball before you know it. Yes, big up to the Haitian Sensation. Salute to Haitian Sensation Promotions, man. Johnny Nelson said Tennyson should rematch Straffon straight after the fight, laugh out loud, even though Straffon cleaned him out inside one round. Yeah, there's no need for a fucking rematch, man. Straffon went in there and fucking demolished him. And Johnny Nelson, man. Johnny Nelson. A couple of months ago, this guy was saying James Tennyson could knock out Tank Davis. And lo and behold, the guy gets knocked out by a 9-1 underdog. That goes to show the level of coverage on Sky Sports when it comes to boxing. It's pure cheerleading, fanboying, and there's nothing honest about the coverage of boxing on Sky Sports. Nothing at all. These guys are basically, you know, accessories to the promoter, Eddie Hearn. They're there to sell a product. They're not really there to tell you what's happening in the fight or what happened in the fight. Because if ridiculous, man. But yeah, 100% Nathan. Yeah, I like that fight, Haydar. Yeah. Conway versus Solomon Sissoko on the Canelo undercard. That's a good fight. Good test for Sissoko. I think Sissoko wins. But it's a good fight. It's a good fight. And I'm looking forward to seeing Frank Sanchez fighting as well. I actually quite like Frank Sanchez, to be honest. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea in terms of style. He's a bit of a boxer mover, but he's something different at heavyweight. I don't mind Frank Sanchez. I don't mind him. Yeah, style makes fights. Tennyson outclasses and knocks out Gervonta Davis and outboxes Lomachenko. You could hear Johnny Nelson saying that, bro. I had a bet on Strathon, fancied the upset. I like Tennyson, he can punch, but his punch resistance is no good. Bit of a glass cannon, I agree, yeah, 100%. And in hindsight, I feel like an idiot for not betting on that fight, but there you go. There you go. Hello, friends. Big up to you, sir. Bivol looks small and versus the admittedly tall Richards. Could Bivol campaign at 168? Yeah, he could. Bivol saying he can make 168. And yeah, he's always been a small light heavyweight. And in that fight with Richards, he looked doubly small. And he actually had some trouble in that fight. Craig Richards did better than Joe Smith. He did better than Jean Pascal. He did better than Sullivan Barrera. And he did better than Chilemba. So, listen, I've got to eat crow. I was shitting on that fight when it got made. But Craig Richards put on a good performance. Clearly lost, don't get me wrong, but he really made a good account of himself in that fight. And like I said earlier, I'd love to see Craig Richards get a big domestic fight with Joshua Buatsi. I think he's a great test for Buatsi right now. I think that'll be a good fight. Exactly, Haydar. It's a good fight, bro. Buatsi Richards. Yeah, and to be honest, Nathan, based on what I saw in that fight, I think Richards could be a bit above domestic level. I'm talking like European level, because what he did really surprised me. Really surprised me. Yeah, the cartels have a simple rule: don't tell. Yeah, indeed, Haitian sensation, indeed. And if you do, well, we know what happens to you. You might meet the end of a chainsaw, we'll put it that way. I think a good tool like heavyweight is the style that will match against Bivol, like Vlasov and Arta. Yeah, that's why, listen, they're talking about Bivol versus Gilberto Ramirez. Listen, I think Gilberto's going to give him a lot of trouble from range. It's a good fight, though. Yeah, other than Conway Sissoko and Soto Takayama, there isn't really a good matchup on the Canelo Billy Joe Saunders cards. Yeah, I agree. And I think Soto's going to take care of Takayama relatively comfortably. I think Conway Sissoko's a real intriguing fight. Yeah, Frank Sanchez fighting Nagy Aguilera. Surely Sanchez needs to be moved a bit quicker. Yeah, I agree. He needs to get a decent step up after this fight. But I do like Frank. Joyce Parker would be like the AJ fight, in my opinion. Yeah, Parker being negative on the back foot, Joyce walking him down, outworking him. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Lara KO was brutal, albeit against an overmatched opponent in Lamana. Had no business being in the ring with Lara. I agree. And one thing I will say about Lara, I made this point on Twitter. I think the narrative that Lara's a boring fighter I think it's unfair, to be honest. I do. When Lara fights one of those sort of guys, usually he gets rid of them, like Yuri Foreman, Lamana, Ramon Alvarez. When he fights those sort of guys, he gets rid of them. And a lot of Lara's like big fights, Hurd, Canelo, Angulo, the Martirosyan fights, Castano, all of these fights have been pretty good, to be honest. I think Lara gets some unfair criticism at times, to be honest, with his style. I actually quite like watching Lara. Again, I'm not saying Lara's never had a crap performance where he's kind of stunk the joint out. I'm not saying that, but I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as people make out with Lara. I really don't. But that's just my opinion. Maybe you guys think I'm wrong on that. I'm half Salvadorian and Peruvian. That's a mix, man. That's an eclectic mix. But yeah, I'd love to go. I'd love to visit South America at one point in time when I get the funds together. Well, technically, I could go now, but I just don't want to spend that kind of money, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'd like to go somewhere like Peru, Ecuador, Brazil. I'd like to visit those countries. I'd like to visit. Conor Benn set to fight for the European title. Avanesian's going to box for a world title. Yeah, I heard Avanesian could be in a world title eliminator. Hader. That's what I heard. But yeah, Conor Benn for the European. Good shout. I'll be intrigued to see who Conor fights next, though, for the European. If Avanesian vacates. Oh, you mean, okay, so like Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, and Costa Rica. Yeah, there's not too many guys coming out of that part of the world right now. I know Teofimo Lopez has, what's his heritage? Is it Honduran or Salvadorian? One of the two. So Teo's got that heritage, but he's really the only one from what I understand. There's another guy as well, actually. What's his name? His name's Lester I think it's Lester Martinez. Lester Martinez, I want to say his name is. Let me have a look. Who's a decent prospect. Yeah, Lester Martinez. He's from Guatemala. He's from Guatemala. Boxing learner. So he's 9-0 right now, 9 knockouts. He's at 168. He was a half-decent amateur, big puncher. He looks like a decent prospect, Lester Martinez. So you check him out, boxing learner. See what you think, if you've heard of him or not. Or well, if you've not heard of him, check him out. Yeah, I like that fight. Jiho Park. Ray Robinson would be a good test for Conor Benn. I agree. I don't think the matchmakers though would let that happen. Not right now, anyway. Yes, big up to Right Hook Boxing. By the way, if you've not checked out Right Hook Boxing, another good channel, extremely professional, puts his videos together really well. So if you've not checked him out, give Right Hook Boxing a check out and subscribe to his channel, man. Real good stuff. That's the thing with YouTube to me, yeah. I see so many channels on this website who don't have the traction that they deserve, in my opinion, whereas other channels who are more on the side of controversy and, you know, saying shit for the sake of it, a lot of these channels just they blow up kind of thing. But people who talk about boxing tend not to. So listen, check out Right Hook Boxing. He deserves a lot more subs than he's got. Real good channel, man. Okay, your mother's from Cusco, Peru. The most exotic thing about my background is my grandfather. He was from Poland. So I am quarter Polish. That's the most exotic thing about me. Big up to Marcy D, by the way. Listen, Del, I'm not being funny, but if Saunders beats Canelo, we are going to have to give him an OBE or an MBE. How the fuck are we going to square that circle? Indeed. Listen, if Canelo wins that fight, that's one of the biggest away wins for... Well, one of the biggest away wins for a British fighter of all time. It's up there with Fury against Klitschko, Hunnigan winning in America. It's up there with those fights. Yeah, Felix got arrested, man. Yeah, he's in deep shit, JDav, and it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. I had a feeling Eubank Jr. would take the piss. I felt he would stop Morrison around 6 or 7 rounds, but he seemed happy to go the rounds. Pretty strange performance, to be honest. Yeah. Do you know what, Nathan? Usually when a fighter says, oh, I didn't stop him because I wanted to go rounds, usually that's 99% bullshit. But in that case, I actually felt it was the case. Because in round 2, Morrison was hurt, man. He was rocked. He was getting caught by uppercuts, hooks, etc. And Eubank just literally stepped off him for purpose, man. Eubank could have taken him out of there numerous times, but he never did it. So I do think he wanted the rounds in that fight. Oh, yeah, the Verdejo story is fucked, yeah. It's messed up. I want to see Conor Benn fight the guy that Crawford got dropped by. I forgot his name. Oh, Kavalauskas. J9898. That'd be a war. It'd be a war. A bit too early for Conor Benn, I think. I think he needs a couple fights before that, but I'd love to see it. Right now, I think you'd favour Kavalauskas. But in a couple of fights, who knows? How do Taylor and Ramirez fare against Crawford? The winner will fight him. Yeah, I mean, listen, if the winner goes to welterweight and fights Crawford, I've got no complaints. What I will say, though, I would like to see the winner, before they fight Crawford, have one fight at welterweight to see what they look like, kind of thing, to grow accustomed to the weight. You know, that's what I'd like to see. But We'll see. I'm not sure really. I'd lean towards Crawford, especially if they go in there with no fights at welterweight. See, like Kavalauskas, if Taylor wins, for example, Taylor move up, then fight Kavalauskas for like a test at welterweight, and then go for Crawford. I'm not a fan of Courtney, to be honest, boxing learner. Just not my cup of tea, bro. Yeah, Kavalauskas is solid. Plant is the best at those 8-mile runs. Yeah, Anthony Fowler, he is a bit of a prick. So yeah, the new channel basically is... It's kind of like a true crime channel, I guess you'd say, where we kind of cover messed up events that have happened in the world, I guess. I think that's the best way to describe it. And as I go on, I might cover more topics. Really, it's kind of a blank canvas right now, but it's going to be more so like the messed up events of the world, and we'll be covering it basically to the best of my knowledge, or to the best of my ability, I should say. Look at the Sky Boxing YouTube channel. Yes, big up to Apology, man. Salute to Apology. Big up to Del and his new channel. Thank you, bro. Yeah, plants an 8-mile starter pack, as you said the other day. Yeah, big up to AA, man. He's sharing the channel. So if you want to check out my second channel, click the link, man. Click the link that AA is showing right there. Adam Smith didn't have an IFL video on pay-per-view fight week. Maybe Hearn's sick of his basement. Yeah, there's definitely some friction there. Crazy. I'm just not a fan of Plant, J-Dav. To me, he's cringy as fuck, man. Like these little sound bites and whatnot. To me, he's just cringy. I don't like Caleb Plant. Yeah, BG London, I'd like to see it. Eubank Jr. versus Andrade, easy match to make. I agree. Good fight. Let's have it. I think Andrade's too slick, too awkward, but I think Eubank's a level above Liam Williams. So, listen, if Liam Williams gave him those problems, then who knows? Maybe Eubank Jr. can do a bit better. We'll see. We'll see. That's a good one. 8-mile starter pack. Would like to see Eubank versus Murata. We'll probably get Brook next though. That's going to be a joke. Yeah. Listen, Brook versus Eubank's a fucking disgraceful fight. Eubank, listen, Brook's got no business fighting anybody right now. He looked absolutely awful in that fight with Crawford. He's got no business fighting Eubank. Kell Brook needs to retire. All he's doing now is sticking around for paydays. I don't want to see a fighter like that, quite frankly. I don't want to see a fighter like that. Yeah, Craig Richards, Callum Johnson. That's another good fight. Jared, that's another good fight. Eubank interview post-fight with Roy Jones Jr. said he would like Kell next. Calla Sauerland even mentioned a potential fight with Khan. Laugh out loud. Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. Listen, I want to see Eubank fight Golovkin, Munguia, Murata, Charlo, Andrade. You know, someone like this. Even Liam Williams, I've got no problem with. But he needs to fight fucking middleweights, man. Let's forget about Khan. Let's forget about Brook. Yeah, he's still got a partnership with Eddie Hearn. Danny Garcia recently said Furman hits harder than Spence, just not as physically strong. Found that interesting because Bundu and Porter said the same thing. Yeah. Yeah, I think Furman's got like snappy, whippy power kind of thing. It's all based on speed, whereas Spence is more fudding and it'll wear you down kind of thing. Hi, Del Boy. Talking about nutters. Remember Eddie Ives and Felix Verdejo could face the death penalty. Yeah, the Felix Verdejo case is crazy, Mr. Relax. Really is crazy. And Eddie Ives, I'm not sure, bro. I'll need to research him. I'll give him a research. Richards could be the second best light heavyweight in Britain behind Johnson for me. Let's get a British Super 6 going. Yeah, there's some good fighters at light heavyweight domestically. You could make some good fights. You've got Callum Johnson, Craig Richards, Lyndon Arthur, Anthony Yard, Joshua Buatsi. There's some good fighters at light heavyweight domestically. If these guys actually fight each other. Some good fights. Exactly, Nathan. XMB45. B-Roll, in my opinion, is the 175 pounds equivalent of Parker. Talented as hell, but he does the bare minimum to win fights. Not mean enough. Yeah, I think that's fair. I was disappointed in Bivol's performance against Craig Richards, to be honest. It's amazing Adam Smith allowed Hearn to co-brand some of his UK fights as Sky and DAZN. Smith actively participated in building a competitor melt. Yeah, indeed. Indeed. That fight is pure violence, Jared. Ioka versus Rungvisai. If we could get that fight, listen, I'll be more than happy. I'll be a happy camper. Ioka versus Ankahass is another one I'd like to see. Faust, he says, big up Dell. Eubank still needs a lot more work, in my opinion. There seems to be a confliction between Eubank's old style of boxing and his new Roy Jones style. I totally agree, Faust. I noticed that in the Marcus Morrison fight. There were certain things that Eubank was doing that were kind of like reminiscent of what Roy did. Obviously, Eubank didn't do them as well. See how his stance was, how his jab hand was low, how his head was kind of leaning forwards, kind of posturing. It was very reminiscent of Roy Jones, and he was trying to pick his shots a lot more, trying to be a lot more economic and more explosive. I definitely got your... I could see that. He was kind of stuck between two styles against Morrison. Yeah, that's fair boxing, learner. I went from being indifferent to Wilder to not liking him at all. He's reacting to other people's fight. Like, dude, you got beat up and made excuses and accusations. Yeah, exactly. I'm just bored with the Wilder conversation. Until Wilder returns, I've really got nothing to add to the conversation, to be honest, man. Big up to Corey Lee, man. Salute to Corey. Big up to Corey every single time. I'm Italian, Ukrainian, and obviously American. That's a good mix, man. See, I'm English and quarter Polish, and probably a bit more way back when. Yeah, Lee Selby beat Eduardo Ramirez a couple of years ago. Nathan, that win's actually aging quite well for Lee Selby. I would pick Lara against Jamal Charlo. If it was prime Lara, I'd pick him against both Charlos confidently. Yeah, so would I. I'd pick prime Lara against Charlo. But now I would pick Jamal to win. Jakov Gospich, he says, yes, Del, do you think Chisora is coming out of a Parker fight with too much credit, maybe? I only gave him one round in the second half. He was very active, but lots of shots on arms or half shots in clinches. Yeah, a lot of the work he was doing was very messy, like hip shots, for example, rabbit punches. He was doing a lot of messy work. I thought he started the fight really well in the first sort of 5 rounds or so, but then he kind of tailed off. He kind of gassed out a little bit. Parker picked up a lot of rounds in the second half of the fight, and yeah, to me it wasn't a robbery. I didn't think it was a robbery. I had Chisora by a point, but I'm not complaining. Yes, big up to Nordic Warrior. Yeah, Ben won't fight Abanesian. Probably not. Not yet anyway. I'll be honest with you, Apology. I'm looking forward to it now more than I was a few weeks ago. I watched it. I'll definitely watch it. Just rewatched Klitschko versus Hay today with the HBO commentary. Larry Merchant is so hilarious. Yeah. I watched that fight back the other year, actually, last year in lockdown. And it wasn't as bad as I remember, Nordic, funnily enough. I heard David Benavidez is half Mexican, half Guatemalan. He's something like that. I've heard like half Ecuadorian. So I'm not sure what he is, but he's mixed. I know that much. I would say Zelfa Barrett, Haydar. I've not been impressed with Archie Sharp recently. I never have been, to be honest, Haydar. I think he's one of those guys that's more style than substance. I like Fundora, really exciting fight and not sure on his ceiling. He gets hit a lot, but he always throws down. Yeah, he's fun to watch, but I think he's a knockout waiting to happen. Ariola was finding Ruiz with relative ease. I think I would change my mind about White versus Ruiz. Dillian could be favourite. Yeah, I felt Ruiz looked pretty poor, to tell you the truth. J-Dav, I thought he looked pretty poor. And listen, man, if I'm Deontay Wilder right now and I'm watching that fight, that's who I'd want to come back against. Fuck it, let's make it. It's a winnable fight. Winnable fight. Imagine this. Virgil Ortiz fights Mean Machine, then faces Crawford, Mando. Boots fights Abdu Kakarov and then becomes mandatory for the winner of Spence Ugas. The winners of each bracket face off. That would be great. That would be great, mini-max boxing. But unfortunately, as we know, man, boxing doesn't work like that. If only it did. If only it did, man. I don't know Hatman personally, Haydar. I like his channel, though. Yeah, it'd be great, Minimax. It'd be great. Ariola post-fight interview was class. What a legend. Laugh out loud. Yeah, he was pissed, man, with the scorecards. Yeah, he admitted he lost, yeah. But he just said he wanted a bit more credit than what he got. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. I've had like Polish meats, BG London, like Polish sausage. That's really nice. But that's really it, to be honest. I've not explored my heritage, BG London. Everyone subscribe to Dale's second channel for well-articulated breakdowns of grimy and disturbing situations. I loved your first video. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Much appreciated, Nordic. Much appreciated. Yeah, I thought Sonny boxed well, Haydar. He really surprised me. I thought he was going to lose that fight. I thought he'd start well when he's nice and fresh, but I thought Mutalani would grind him down late and stop him. But I thought he boxed a good fight. Real good fight. If I'm Frank Warren, I'd be looking at Artem Dalakian in a unification fight. I'm not all that sold on Dalakian. He's been very inactive and he's not fought anybody since he beat Valoria. So that's what I would do if I was Frank Warren. I'd try and get Dalakian over in a unification fight. I think that's very winnable. The other champions, Junto Nakatani and Julio Cesar Martinez, I think those guys have way too much for Sonny Edwards. But I think Sonny can beat Dalakian. I really do, based on that performance. Jesus Ramos looks like a good prospect as well. Did a good job on Javier Molina. Might be one to watch. I've not seen that fight, Nathan, so I'll need to check up on it. Felix Verdejo's a madman. Needs to get 2 life sentences. I agree, Nordic. To be honest, Nordic, though, I think like death sentence, like put him on death row if Puerto Rico had that. You know, give him a couple of decades in jail, in prison, and then execute him. That's what I say. Joe Laws, man. Yeah, Joe Laws isn't good at all. I'm not a fan of Joe Laws. Yeah, Sonny Edwards looks 100 times better than I ever thought he would do. I like him now, but still hate Charlie. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, listen, man. I wasn't really giving Sonny much credit going into that fight, to tell you the truth. And I'm not a fan of him personally, I have to say. But listen, credit where it's due. If he proved me wrong, I'm not going to sit here and make excuses. He boxed a great fight. If Taylor wins, he should call out Crawford at welterweight in Scotland. Can you imagine Hampden Park? Well, I think Josh Taylor supports Hibernian. Is it Hibernians or Hearts? One of the two. Get it at that stadium. Yeah, Ruiz White, Ruiz Wilder, Ruiz Ortiz, Ortiz White, White Wilder. All of these sort of fights, man, need to happen. Yeah, I've noticed that, Nuriel. It's not really being talked about in the UK. And that's one problem. We're talking about this Sky DAZN thing, this Sky Sports, Matchroom leaving Sky Sports for DAZN. Listen, Sky Sports, for in my opinion, the coverage is bad. But what they did very well was build their events. They pushed their events very well. They had the Sky Sports News platform to do so, the Sky Sports website, and you knew when a big Sky card was on. You knew. Whereas DAZN, they're gonna have a much harder job promoting these sort of events. So I wonder, Nuriel, I wonder. Problem is with these live chats here, I get so far behind. Big up to Jazz 1-1 or Jazz 11, sorry. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it really matters, Hader. I don't think he's I don't think he's very good at all. Joe Laws. Yeah, I agree, Nordic. Yeah, Taylor should move up to welterweight, try and force the WBO mandatory, and then get MTK in on the purse bid and get Crawford over to Glasgow. That would be awesome if they did that. Yeah, it would do. It would be, sorry. Yeah, Sonny Edwards has an awkward style. He also did a good job on Thomas Azomba, who was unlucky himself against Thomas Patrick Ward. Yeah, and it looks like Sonny actually is going to fight the winner of Jay Harris and Sandoval. Those two guys are fighting in an eliminator. So potentially we could get a British world title fight at flyweight, which is kind of crazy. Roy Jones trying to make Eubank into a boxer isn't going to work. Eubank can only thrive at world level being a front foot 3-minute pressure fighter. I agree, J-Dav. I agree. Eubank's never really going to be an effective boxer. He can box against like real stationary guys, like someone like a shot Arthur Abraham. He can box well then, but he can't box with the elite guys who are at their best. So you're right. I think Eubank Jr. is always going to be a pressure fighter. Because when he gets on top of you, when he throws those combinations, it can be overwhelming with Eubank Jr. Adam Smith has been working for Matchroom doing darts commentary. I think he's going to take up position as head of PBT. Yeah. That chapter, Mr. Barlin, good channels to model with new channel. Good luck. If you're going to dump a body off a bridge, don't do it on a toll bridge on camera in your SUV. What a piece of shit. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Plant is funny to me. Sorry, Plant is funny to me unintentionally, but I'm not sure why. Just his demeanor. Yeah, he's kind of a cornball, Caleb Plant. Like he tries too hard. Yeah, those are good fights, Nathan. Marcus Morrison against like Denzel Bentley, Jack Cullen, Linus Adofia, all good fights. Eubank Jr. is a trash-talking, posturing, cherry-picking coward with no balls, no heart. Nordic's going in. I want to see him fight one of these guys, man, ultimately. Because I think when he gets in the ring with one of these guys, I think he'll lose. But I think he'll make it relatively entertaining. But I think he'll lose, man. I can't see it, Jared, man. I think he's too many years of bad living for Kell Brook. Couple of bad injuries, you know, some bad defeats. I can't see it, man. I reckon Calais might get a Sky boxing slot. I could see it, Volks. Yeah, Calais Howland is now with he's linked up with Wasserman, who have got a lot of money. So yeah, I could see that. Maybe Sky are going to work with maybe Sky are going to work with numerous promoters like they used to back in the day, whether just by like TV, where a promotional company would buy a TV slot. I could see that happening. I hope so, Nordic, man. I hope so. I really think your second channel might take off. I'll shout it out in the next video that I record. Thank you, Nordic, man. Much appreciated, bro. Much appreciated. I think if Haney gets past Linares, I think he should fight Fortuna, then Lopez Tank, gain the experience. Yeah, I mean, any one of those fights, man. I want to see Ryan versus Haney, personally. That's what I'd like to see, but we can't really count on Ryan Garcia right now. I know Devin Haney's not exactly everybody's favourite, but at least that guy's professional. I'll say that much. Is Adam Smith human? Serious question. He's like a cyborg, isn't he, Adam Smith? Like a cyborg. Craig Richards versus Bivol was bad matchmaking, in my opinion. I guess you could say bad matchmaking on Bivol's behalf, but Craig actually went in there and his stock rose, in my opinion, despite the defeat. So I thought it was quite an interesting fight. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would do. Hearn is making Brits versus Mexico on every card now. Yeah, and we're getting whooped, Volks UK. We're getting whooped. Yeah, Eubank does not have the talent or the body mechanics to fight like Roy Jones Jr. He needs a more conventional trainer and style. I agree, bro. I totally agree. See, I want to see Eubank quicken up his feet and attack behind a nice high guard, behind a real hard jab and pressure people. That's what I want to see from Eubank Jr. I think he needs to be an all-out pressure fighter. Nice tight guard, bit more compact, coming forwards. Because he's got nice combinations when he actually lets go of his shots, when he's got you stationary. He's got very fast hands, and he can overwhelm you. He needs to be a pressure fighter, in my opinion. There was a Team GB boxer from Leeds who got jailed last year for his part in a gangland murder. His dad was also a boxer. Okay. I never even heard of that. AA. Technically, Roy Jones actually had a lot of holes, but like when he was athletically in his peak, he just made up for it, man. He was super fucking human in terms of his athleticism. He really was, man. But when his athleticism started to wane, you could tell that he didn't quite have a boxing ability to fall back on. Whereas like Bernard Hopkins, for example, say what you want about him, but he had a solid base of fundamentals where he could hone those as he got older. He was a much more intelligent fighter than Roy Jones. Much more intelligent. Dale, on the topic of your second channel, what is the most fucked up story you've ever heard? Apology, I'll be giving it away, mate. I'd be giving it away. But there's a few, man. There's a few. So subscribe and you might hear, bruh. You might hear. But yeah, there's a lot out there, man. There's a lot out there. But as I said earlier, apology, I think the next video is going to be cartel based. I've got a few cartel videos in mind that I need to do or want to do. And maybe even we could do one of those videos, what they call an iceberg. So basically it's like a tiered list of like content going from like mild to fucking, you know, horrible kind of thing. It's like a tiered list kind of thing. I might try and do one of those. That'll take a long time though. Young fighters should try and emulate the Arthur Abraham style more than the Roy Jones style. It works, and it is based on the basic boxing fundamentals and not athleticism and speed and reflexes. Yeah, it can take you a long way, Nordic Warrior. It can take you a long way. Just basics, the basic ABCs. If you get it right, it can take you a long way. Yeah, exactly, J9898. Because in terms of pure talent and like pure boxing ability and fundamentals and whatnot, I don't think Roy Jones was better than James Toney. He was just far more athletically gifted and more dedicated as well. Yeah, exactly. The truth is stranger than fiction. Indeed it is, man. There's some messed up stories out there. There really is. I was kind of thinking about the channel name for a long time. I couldn't really think of anything, so I just used that in the end. And I wasn't really happy with it originally, but I think it's all right. Yeah, that Troy Williamson knockout against Kieran Smith, yeah. He should fight. He could face Cheeseman next. Troy looked ponderous, but it was a good finish. He has some power, yeah. Yeah, Troy Williamson was actually quite a good amateur. He fought in the World Series of Boxing. Listen, he looks quite limited to me, but he's relatively fun. He does the fundamentals well, and he's got a bit of power. And what I liked actually about Williamson in that fight, when he knocked out Kieran Smith, and it was a bad knockout, Smith was in a bad way. I liked how Troy Williamson did not celebrate. I know that sounds real like just random, but I appreciated that, how he never celebrated when his opponent was down. I think that shows a lot of class, especially in a fight like that. That was his biggest fight of his career. And for him to react like that, I got a lot of respect for that, man. So big up to Troy Williamson. Yeah, I'm not surprised, Haydar. I thought Dominic Ingle's instructions in that fight with, what's his name, Venezuela, I thought that was really poor, man. Really poor. He was telling fucking, yeah, really poor, man. So BG's St. Lucian, Jamaican, and French. I'm out here. I'm quarter Polish, English. We've got South Americans. We've got Nordic, who's a Scotsman in here. We got a lot of different walks of life, man. We've got a lot of different walks of life. Dominic Ingle versus Adam Booth. Who's the bigger fraud? I don't really rate either guy, but I would say Adam Booth. But having said that, though, Adam Booth at least he had David Haye from start to finish. He basically turned George Groves into a world-class fighter. He got Ryan Burnett a world title. I don't know, I don't know. I think me personally, if I had to train with one of those guys, I'd probably train with Adam Booth due to my body mechanics. I'm kind of like a long-rangey guy who likes to keep somebody on the outside. I like to sharpshoot. So I'd train with Adam Booth more so than Dominic Ingle, just based on my body mechanics, my style. But I don't really rate either guy. AA Boxing and Blunts is half human, half frog. Joe Jackson, big up to Joe Jackson. What are your thoughts on Idris Kavalauskas? He's a good fringe level fighter, a good fringe world level fighter. At his best, he's like real low level of a top 10, but he's definitely top 15 kind of thing. Maybe in between 10 and 15 in rankings. So he's a good solid fighter, does the fundamentals well, got a nice hard jab, good power, decent balance. He's a good fighter, but not like he's never going to be a world champion. Yeah, by the way, guys, it is so windy here, man. I'm not sure whether you guys can hear it. It's so fucking windy. No, I never knew that. The Edwards brothers have beef. Yeah, fucking Sonny Edwards. Yeah, his feet were all blistered up, man. Crazy. You don't think of things like that. Yeah, BG London. I'm a frog as well, mate. Yeah, Kavalauskas. Yeah, Kavalauskas versus Virgil Ortiz. 100%, Nathan. I'd accept that. I'd be more than happy to see that fight. See, these are the sort of fights that test these young prospects, man. I hope that Taylor Ramirez is on BT at a UK time so it gets the most exposure, but I don't think that will happen. No, I don't. I don't either. Vegas fights are usually pretty late, Jared. JDav, spent a lot of time in Poland. I think you would like it. It's a very harmonious society that's modernizing while not abandoning its culture. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Poland. I would definitely like to go. Me and my friends have talked about it for a while. Doing like a long weekend in Warsaw kind of thing. Like maybe a 3-day weekend. Because it's not too far. It's easy to get to. Flights are cheap. I'll definitely visit Poland at some point. Definitely. But yeah, big up to you guys, by the way, for all the support on the second channel. I know a lot of you guys have shared it, so I do appreciate that. I really do. And yeah, we'll see where it goes, man. The second channel. We'll see where it goes. Again, I'm looking really, ideally, I want to be uploading once a week to start with. I don't want to do too much and force things out. But I want to say once a week. I aim to upload. I just need to make sure what video I want to do next. I've got one thing in mind, which I might do next. But yeah, I do appreciate the all the support. Although definitely doesn't go unnoticed. Hey, yeah, how much can DAZN charge for cards without AJ and White involved? Exactly. And also AA, did you see that BT Sports and Sky Sports are keeping the football? So that's going to be a big blow for DAZN. I think they was aiming to get football as well. So it's not going to be easy for DAZN. Yeah, Sam UK, yeah. They've got that Mestizo belt, yeah. Call it the Gringo belt, fucking hell. Yeah, Adam Smith commentating on darts would suit him. Most hardcore darts fans I've met love virtue signaling Smith. He would fit right in. Adam Smith is terrible. Yeah, Del, you should date a sexy Polish bird for heritage reasons. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I'm trying to work on a Polish bird right now, as I told you guys, but she's definitely not like the pump and dump type of girl. So I need to come to the conclusion whether she's worth it or not. Yeah, there are Nordic. There's a lot of hardcore dart fans, especially out this way. A lot. Kid you not, there's a lot. Beterbiev would pound Canelo into cocaine and make Oscar De La Hoya snort it. Yeah, Eubank Jr. can fight for sure, but his boxing ability is not great. He's more of a fighter. He seems to be changing his style now under Roy. Yeah, 100%. Imagine sparring and doing road work for darts. AA's more into darts than boxing. Yeah, I'm not a fan of darts. I don't mind playing it when I'm pissed up, but that's really it. Virgil Hunter for Eubank? I don't think so, Jared. Man, I wouldn't have a Virgil Hunter for Eubank. Maybe someone like do you know who would be good? Who would be good for Eubank, but not quite so much now. But like if Freddie Roach was a few years younger, because obviously right now his Parkinson's is pretty bad. But I think Freddie Roach a few years ago, if he got hold of Eubank, would have been a real good fit. Because Eubank naturally is aggressive. He's an offensive fighter. I think Freddie Roach could have been good for Eubank Jr. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but that's how I see it. And yeah, that's crazy, by the way, guys. We're nearly up to 800 subscribers on the second channel, so that's fucking crazy. So big up to you guys, man. We are what? We're about 789 right now. So yeah, you guys are great, man. Salute to you guys. But yeah, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. It's we've been going for an hour and 17 minutes. I think that's long enough. I think I'll try and stream one more time this weekend. It's my birthday on Wednesday, so I'll probably be out of action on Wednesday, I would say. But maybe on Friday or something like that, we'll live stream and we'll talk some shit. But yeah, thank you guys for the support. If you could smash the like on the way out, be much appreciated. But yeah, I'm going to wrap this one up, guys. Peace.